You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
If it's Saturday, we must be talking real money. Hi there, everybody. We're talking real money. I'm Don McDonald. Over there, well, 3,000 miles across the country is Tom Cock. But it looks like he's right there. It's almost like being with him, except better. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. No offense, 855-935-8255, because this way he can't throw things at me. And my volume level is doing something funky. I don't know. Is it doing something funky at your end?
No, you sound as magnificent as you always do, sir.
Oh, gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Reason I'm wondering is because I got new equipment here in the studio.
Well done. Well, at your age, you should get new equipment. I think that's a good idea.
I need all the help I can get.
I would take it.
Whatever it might be. Well, hi. We're here to try to enlighten you when it comes to making, saving, spending, investing, and just plain dealing with money. And during the course of the 2 hours we're together on Saturdays at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, you have this wonderful opportunity to give us a call and get some really important questions answered and get pointed in the right direction, which so few in this industry do. So few in this industry do.
And we might point those out from time to time on this show. It's possible.
I think we might even do it today. I think we might even have a few things to point out that aren't very good for you.
And I want to mention that even though it's a holiday weekend, we are here live. We're actually here.
We're always live.
Have we ever done a record? I think you told me once we did do one recorded show, but
you know, it's funny. You don't even remember doing it. Do you know what day it was?
No idea.
It was a Saturday in February.
Well, that might have been something to do with an event we call Retire Meet.
That would be the one.
Okay.
Good job.
Right. Well, I was occupied. It wasn't like I was sitting home watching the Bundesliga.
No, it's not like
I was busy.
No, we don't take days off just for the heck of it.
You didn't even know Monday was a holiday, so.
No, I didn't. Well, that's this whole
You're sitting in that room. Does your wife just put the food underneath the door there, and then every once in a while you
sometimes
knock and say, can I come out and use the bathroom? Would that be okay?
No, actually, she always lets me come out for food because I'm the cook.
That's a good point. She needs you to show up for that. Yeah.
If I wasn't there, she'd starve.
That is indeed correct.
Oh, my gosh. Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here. We hope we can help you out. Really, money can be so blasted confusing and frustrating and bewildering, and we don't want it to be those things. We really don't. We don't think it needs to be. We actually believe that managing money is a lot simpler than it appears to be.
And by the way, I think the people that manage big money, like pensions, we talked about them last week, they could do it simply. And if the track record is, had they done that, the people getting the pensions wouldn't be so worried about whether or not they're going to get a check for the next 20 years if they just simply used index funds, widely diversified, low cost. But they always have to try to do something tricky to make an extra dollar here or there, and doesn't pay off.
Or I honestly believe, yesterday's podcast, I talked a little about this. I believe that there is a concerted effort on the part of pension fund managers, hedge fund managers, some mutual fund managers, stockbrokers, quote, investment advisors, unquote, and the industry to make things appear to be more difficult than they are. And then when they add these levels, these layers of difficulty and confusion, they're able to charge more for their services of deciphering and expert opinioning.
Expert opinioning. Well, we'll get to that later, too.
I made that one up. Expert opinioning.
So we're happy to talk to you about anything money related. It doesn't have to be how you're running your hedge fund today or which mutual fund you're I'm kidding you. Well, if you're running a hedge fund, we'll talk to you too. But our number,
how's your hedge fund there,
Bobby?
Yeah,
exactly, 855-935 And for those challenged like myself, it's just 8255. I can't figure out the TALK thing. It's a lot of work.
I finally got around to watching the first episode of season 5 of Billions. Finally.
Yeah.
It took me forever to get to it.
So there have been 3, I think, so far. Right, yeah.
You know what stood out? The thing and there's always something in every episode of Billions that kind of sticks with me. And that was when the psychologist chick started saying, I'm
going to let you call her that, because she would not be happy.
It's just not fun anymore when we're not taking surprise trips to Paris. Whose money's that?
Yeah.
Whose money are they spending on these things?
Yeah.
Guess what? Tom and I do not take surprise trips to Paris on your money.
No.
We take regularly.
By the way, if somebody wants to call me and take me on a surprise, I'm there. I got a passport. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
I think you got a 14-day quarantine when you get there. That'll take half the fun out of it. 855-935-TALK. Give us a call right now. Talking real money.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Most of you get really bad investing advice, but it's not your fault. The fault lies with the broken business model that dates back more than 100 years and some misguided investing attitudes. So, if you're ready to start investing and stop playing around with your money, you need to find a way to bypass the bad brokers and find full-time fiduciary advice. Funny, that just happens to be the name of our next free online class on June 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Do you know if your financial advisor is always required to act in your best interest? Are you paying them a huge commission? Do you have a fee-based advisor and know how much they charge? Maybe you have a hodgepodge portfolio made of a variety of hot tips and changing strategies. This is just a little part of what you'll learn during our Zoom class, Bypass Bad Brokers and Find Full-Time Fiduciaries. You can register for it free right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. In addition to banishing the bad brokers, we'll tell you exactly what you need to look for in a 100% fiduciary advisor. So save your spot at Bypass Bad Brokers and Find Full-Time Fiduciaries at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. Click on the event button. And by the way, if you're hearing this after June 10th, 2020, the event already happened, but go to TalkingRealMoney.com anyway and see if we have some other events coming up.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi there. Welcome back to the show. I'm Don. That's Tom. This is Talking Real Money. Our phone number is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Oh, you got a lot of paper.
Yeah, for those of you out driving this weekend, apparently you're not driving a rental car because you're not renting them.
They didn't shut down.
No, they didn't shut down.
They just filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, well, okay, no, but I'm saying in a general sense, people are not traveling. Yeah. People are not renting cars because generally when you're at home, you don't rent them anyway, right?
Right. Yeah. But here's the really big point of the Hertz bankruptcy.
Which you may or may not have heard of because they just declared it late yesterday.
Yeah, Hertz Rent-A-Car, which is the oldest rent-a-car company on the planet. I think they said they were over 100 years old, so that's probably started in the teens then.
Weren't that many cars then anyway, but yeah, okay.
No, they started out renting Model Ts. That was the first car. They bought a bunch of Model Ts from Henry and started renting those out. Now, here's the deal. Here's what makes this a big story from a financial standpoint. I have just... I believe that the bond portion of a portfolio should be really, 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 really inherently safe.
And remember, bonds are different than stocks because stocks are an investment in a company. A bond is an IOU. You're getting a piece of paper that's saying, we'll pay you back in this period of time with this much interest. They're completely different types of securities.
Right. Now, we judge the security, the quality of a bond based on ratings from Standard & Poor's and Moody's. U.S. government bonds, get this, U.S. government bonds, you would think they were AAA.
Nope.
And they used to be.
Yep.
But now they're AA. But the fact of the matter is the entire planet considers U.S. government bonds to be the pinnacle of safety. It's the more than gold standard.
Well, whatever you want to say about their rating, they've always paid you back with the interest that they told you they would. Never defaulted.
In February of 2020, before COVID, Hertz bonds, many of Hertz bonds, were rated AAA, triple A bonds, which you would have assumed at that moment meant they were safer than government bonds.
And it turned out
they're not.
Yeah, okay. There's two parts to that story, by the way. Number one, I didn't realize they went through what's called a leveraged buyout like 15 years ago. And one of the problems oftentimes with companies when they do that, they take on a pile of new debt. Right? This is part of the deal. Right. You're mortgaging the future. That's number one. Number two, the other part I had no idea about is all those cars you're driving from Hertz, they don't own them. They borrowed the money.
Oh, they're all leased.
They're all leased. So there's some good news. I feel bad for the people that own the bonds because that's bad news, right? And we're going to finish the story about what type of bonds to own. But here's the good news. If you're in the market for a used car, you may be the prices may come down. Look at the wholesale used car price index fell by about 12% in April. And the sales prices of rental cars fell by about 12% as others, because what's happening is those bonds that these cars are secured with, they're going to need to dump those cars to get the money back to pay the bonds. But it brings us to this is my slow way of getting back to the big picture point. The big picture point is when you hold bonds issued by corporations, great corporations that have been around for 100 years, great corporations that are the largest trust bank in the country, called Washington Mutual, great corporations that's the largest energy trader ever, and the most far-reaching company in history called Enron. Sometimes those companies run into unexpected trouble and they cannot meet their obligations. That's why what you were trying to say is in the bond portion of your portfolio should be the place of the maximum safety where you're always getting your money back with the interest. Now, the interest is low, right, on U.S. government bonds.
Very low.
Yeah.
Particularly in the short to intermediate term maturity range, which is where we want you to be, because our research, and decades of it, shows that longer term bonds don't reward you for the volatility risk you take on when you own those long maturities. And I don't believe that corporate bonds are necessarily the safe place to be, are particularly safe at all from a credit quality standpoint, because they can turn so quickly. Hertz does not have the ability to tax its users. Correct. It can't say, well, you got to pay us now. We're in trouble and we got to pay off our bonds. It's just, you're in trouble. And what's going to happen now is creditors who believed a month and a half ago that they were certainly going to get $100 back on $100 or 100 cents on the dollar are now going to get a fraction of that in a bankruptcy restructuring if they're able to. Or
there are sovereign bonds.
You and the Argentine bonds. You're going to talk about Argentine bonds again, aren't you? I
cannot help me because it's okay. They issued 99-year bonds. Now, how many of you know that you're going to be around 99 years from now to get the money back?
Now, I just want to clear something up because there's been a bit of a disaster with those 100-year bonds.
Yeah.
Tom only suggested those tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, that was facetious
over time.
Sure.
He was not actually suggesting anyone buy those bonds, because right now, that 100-year bond that a year or so ago was yielding 7.
Yeah.
I don't know what the yield is, but it's probably in the range of 20 some odd % now.
And I think
because the bond value is down by about 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. Pardon me. Yeah, Argentina could not make a payment, I think, last week of $500 million. Shocking.
Here's the question. Yeah.
The ninth time they've defaulted on their bonds.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not the first time they've done this.
Why would you lend money to Argentina?
The beef is still good.
They always think the debt is the last thing you pay. It's like, these foreigners, they'll give us money and we don't have to pay them. Yeah. It's okay. We'll go out and rope some cattle and cook them over an open fire.
So back to where we started, the point is, in your portfolio, if you want stability. I mean, if you don't, then just, I think, put it all in stocks. And by the way, we should probably finish this, and not very many of you can take those ups and downs. If we're going to do the mea culpa here, we should about the Vanguard Total Bond Fund.
Uh-huh.
Because the Vanguard Total Bond Fund, which we tell you to use if you're going to do this on your own, holds 25% in corporate bonds, and a third of the money in those bonds are long duration, over 20 years. So there's risk to those things. Now, this is, again, why when we manage money for others, we do not use the Vanguard Total Bond Fund. We do not have corporate bonds. We do not have any bonds over the year 20 years. And by the way, the bond, the mutual fund company we use, Dimensional Funds, has never owned a bond that's defaulted ever in the history of the 30 years.
Really?
Not a one.
That's actually pretty darned amazing.
Get your money
I want
back.
to talk a little bit more about this Vanguard Total Bond Fund after the break. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. Give us a call if you need some help with your money.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're sick of your self-interested financial advisor and are looking for a 100% fiduciary low-fee investment advisor, call my firm Vestory at 800-386-3004 or visit us at vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
855-935-TALK. Call that number anytime to talk with us. You can call during the show. We'll have a real live conversation where we talk back and forth to each other, or you can call any other time and record your question, and I'll get that answered on the podcast. You can also send a question right now to don@vestory.com, don@vestory.com. If I look over here on my screen, I have my email open up, and let's see, has anybody sent a question? No. Okay,
and this is a good time to call because the second hour always gets busy. I don't know, human nature being what it is. People
it's human nature.
I'll wait, but just go ahead and ring us up. It doesn't have to be about your bonds. It could be anything money related.
Now, here's the thing with the Vanguard Total Bond Index and risk. While they probably own some Hertz bonds in the portfolio because it's the total bond market index.
I think they have to own some.
This in, let me help you put this in perspective, though. If you own Hertz bonds, you lost a lot of money. But if you owned the Vanguard Total Bond Index portfolio, you wouldn't have even noticed the effect of the decline in Hertz bonds, because this is key. This is the thing that we believe saves investors who do what we suggest. And that is diversification saves you. The Vanguard Total Bond Index portfolio consists of, you ready for this number?
Yes.
It's huge. 17,750 individual bond positions.
That's all. That's the governments, that's the corporates, and the securitized mortgages.
And so much of it is corporate that if you look at the top 50 list, or I'm sorry, top 25 at Morningstar, you don't even get into corporates because they're all governments.
I wonder, I'd be curious to know, in the current situation, which we started the program off talking about Hertz, the Hertz bonds that went from AAA to probably B now, or I don't even know if they're rated anymore. Who knows?
Well, they.
But so is Vanguard then required to sell those at the lower price because they're not part of the aggregate bond index?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They do not hold any bonds below BBB. None whatsoever.
Which is good because those are all, investment grade.
855-935-TALK. That's our phone number. Sandy, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Yes, hello.
Hey.
Hi, Sandy.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I have a question about savings bonds, I bonds, that were purchased in 2002, I believe. And they were purchased by my husband's mother, and her name was primary, and then his name is payable on death.
Mm-hmm.
On her death.
Yep.
And she has now passed away, and some time ago, actually, and he's just found these bonds. And I'm wondering, can we cash these at a bank?
Yes.
Do we mail them in somewhere?
No, you can go to the bank and cash them in, and there'd be no reason to continue to hold an I bond. I don't think, Don. Right? You may as well go get your money.
Might as well. Yeah. They'll earn some sort of tiny little almost nothing right now. They earn for 30 years.
That's right.
But you can almost always beat an I bond.
So you could go just take it down to your bank. They'll put it in your bank. You put it in your account if you like, or you can.
And then if it's if it's a decent amount of money, you can invest it in something else, or just add it to your emergency fund, or whatever it might be.
Okay, so we have her death certificate, which I assumed we would need.
That's all you need. You'll need the death certificate because the POD is on the I bond.
Correct.
Right. But I'm worried.
That's all you need.
We aren't young. So
go get your money, Sandy. Go get the money.
And put it in our bank account, although I love Vanguard too, gentlemen.
Yeah, good. And you could then start to invest some of it. Thanks so much for the call, Sandy. We appreciate it. 855-935-TALK. That's our number, 855-935-8255. Give us a call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Did you know I wrote a book? Yeah, about 10 years ago, I wrote a book about investing. Financial Physics, with an F, How Money and Investing Really Work. It's a short read. It's a really easy read because, well, as you know, investing is way too easy to be this complicated. And it's been on sale for a long time at Amazon. I updated it in 2018 to a new version. But if you don't want to buy it, you can go buy it at Amazon. It's $10. But if you don't want to buy it, if you want it free, well, you can get it free two ways. One, you can get a PDF copy by going to talkingrealmoney.com/free. talkingrealmoney.com/free. If you don't put in the /free, you can't find it. The other way is if you have an iDevice, like an iPhone or an iPad or a Mac, you can go get an interactive version of the book, a special edition that I made that's actually interactive, that's got videos and motion and things going on, and that's also free. Just look for Financial Physics, FYSICS, in the Apple Bookstore or Apple Books or whatever they call it now. Or go to talkingrealmoney.com/free, talkingrealmoney.com/free. And I guarantee you'll enjoy the PDF or the iBook or your money back. Check it out, talkingrealmoney.com/free.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Well. Hi, I'm Don. That's Tom. This is Talking Real Money. We try to get you on the path to a better future by telling you the truth about money, as opposed to most people who will tell you things that are really in their best interests as opposed to yours. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And I decided during the break I would check on 2012 I-bonds.
Yeah, Sandy just called us about having an I-bond that was it purchased back in 2002 and about cashing that out. Was it 2? She said 2002.
Oh, I thought I heard 2012.
Yeah, so and she was trying to figure out what to do with the bond. You simply take those to your bank; they'll deposit them in your account.
Oh,
and 2002. We're getting a new number.
I might keep those, Sandy.
Oh, what's the rate on those?
I might actually keep those because the fixed rate is set at the time of issue.
Yep,
and if it was purchased. Between November 2001 and November 2002, the rate was 2%. This is not bad. It's safe money.
Yeah.
If it's not money you need for anything else. But wait, the other thing is that the inflation adjustment, the semi-annual inflation adjustment is 0.53, so that adds another 1.06. So that is a 3% government bond. That's immediately available at any time. Think about that. That beats every savings account. It beats every CD.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing that I don't like about it. We're
going to argue now. I
know because you mentioned this during the break, and this is I'd buy that for my grandson, right? And I put it in an envelope. And I put the envelope somewhere, and somebody may or may not find it. I just think I don't think that's a practical way to deal with money today. I would rather if let's just say you want to do something for your grandchildren, which I think is great. or your children, figure out first of all, what's the purpose? So in my case, as you know, I've wanted it for my grandkids' education. So I've set up 529 plans for them. The money goes in there. It's all. I have a secure place on my computer where I can go look. But it's all when something happens to me, someone will be able to go look at it.
Wait. Could I just interject?
Yeah.
You have a secure place on your computer?
Well, I can't tell you where it is.
Is it password protected?
It is. Yeah.
Which
I can't find the password.
I know you and passwords.
Can't find the password anywhere, but
I can't find the password.
But the point is,
the guy with the Bitcoin. He goes, I don't remember the password.
I know. I bought that like 6 years ago in my dorm room, and I was smoking something. No, the point is, it's easier. The whole idea of leaving something on paper and all that. Yeah, okay, and you're making 3%, but for your grandkids or your kids, 3%. That's not really long-term money.
No,
unless you're running a pension or something, right? I mean, then it's big money.
Let me bifurcate the question.
Yeah.
Big word, huh? Bifurcate the question. Yeah, I like that. Very legal. For Sandy, though, if this is money she's just going to have sitting around, not going to use, wants to, get it replated with a new heir on it or put it in her estate, if she doesn't need it, because 3% with safety in her case is good. Yeah, if you're buying something for your grandkid, go with the 529 at my529.com, which is the Utah plan.
Yeah.
We love that. We love that. But today, do not buy I-bonds. The current fixed rate on I-bonds, the one you get forever, is 0.
Yeah, no, and again, but the thing is, what is the purpose of the money?
Right.
I want to leave money to somebody. Well, then I wouldn't want to leave it in an I-bond. That's just my take, both from the practicality standpoint I just mentioned and the long-term return. If it's money you're not going to use for 10 years, I want to make more than 3% a year.
If it's money that might be part of my emergency fund, though, I'd leave it in a darned I-bond because I can cash it out instantly, and it pays 3%.
That's a different
answer. That one,
but when you leave money to people, generally it's not for their emergency fund.
No, I'm talking about if Sandy wants to make it part of her emergency fund, she could spend some of the money in her bank account.
I was speaking more if you're going to buy something today and leave it for somebody else. That is not what I would do.
I'm just talking about leave it in the I-bonds if it's emergency money for today, because then if an emergency comes up, you take it out of the bank, you put it in your bank account, and you earn 3%. All right, up until that day.
Mine's all in a paper bag I threw over the cliff somewhere, so I have no idea.
And here's the thing, just for all of you, just in case you ever want to steal Tom's Bitcoin collection or his 529.
Yeah,
because he forgets his password. He has them tattooed on his arm.
Oh yeah, there is that. Yeah.
And then he has to cross it out.
But I sleep with one eye open, and I only sleep about 5 hours a night. So you got to find those 5 hours. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck, because we don't know when that is. 855-935-TALK. Stop by. We talk about money on this show because it's important.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Most of you get really bad investing advice, but it's not your fault. The fault lies with the broken business model that dates back more than 100 years and some misguided investing attitudes. So, if you're ready to start investing and stop playing around with your money, you need to find a way to bypass the bad brokers and find full-time fiduciary advice. Funny, that just happens to be the name of our next free online class on June 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Do you know if your financial advisor is always required to act in your best interest? Are you paying them a huge commission? Do you have a fee-based advisor and know how much they charge? Maybe you have a hodgepodge portfolio made of a variety of hot tips and changing strategies. This is just a little part of what you'll learn during our Zoom class, Bypass Bad Brokers and Find Full-Time Fiduciaries. You can register for it free right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. In addition to banishing the bad brokers, we'll tell you exactly what you need to look for in a 100% fiduciary advisor. So save your spot at Bypass Bad Brokers and Find Full-Time Fiduciaries at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. Click on the event button. And by the way, if you're hearing this after June 10th, 2020, the event already happened, but go to TalkingRealMoney.com anyway and see if we have some other events coming up.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Well, it's good you're there. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Don. Over there's Tom. And, well, you're where you are, hanging out over the beginning of a Memorial Day weekend. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. Love to hear from you, just like we're hearing from Dale right now. Hi, Dale. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Dale.
Hi, thank you. My question is, if I want to take my stimulus money and get a Roth IRA, can I go to my local bank, or because they're not fiduciary, should I really go to someone fiduciary?
No,
don't go to your
bank.
Do
not go to your bank.
Banks. It's interesting. Banks.
They'll do one of two bad things. They'll either put your money in a CD, which will pay nothing, or they'll put your money in a loaded mutual fund, which is expensive and probably bad.
So do you have any investment accounts anywhere else?
Just 401k.
Okay. And you are eligible to you're eligible to have a Roth IRA. Your household income is low enough.
I believe so. About 50,000 a year.
Okay, you're perfect.
Yeah, he's good. You're
Here's what I would do. And how old are you, Dale?
51.
51. I would simply go to Vanguard.com.
What's the minimum IRAs at Vanguard? Is it still 500?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Cool. All right, go ahead.
And go to Vanguard.com and open a Roth IRA. Probably take you 10 minutes. Okay. And once that Roth IRA, that's your account. That's a Roth IRA. This is money after taxes have already been paid. And then I would they'll help you figure out how to get the money in there. Don's got his hand up.
Risk quiz.
I'll let you get to that in a minute. I would then, and then I would simply, at 51, this is where the rubber meets the road. That's why he's asking about the risk quiz. Because if it was my Roth IRA, I'd put it all in the Vanguard Total World Stock Index. But that's going to be a wild ride. Yeah, that's going to be, because that's all in stocks. That's the VTWAX that we got criticized for last week. But it is one mutual fund that holds about 9,000 globally diversified securities. But it's going to go up and down a lot because it's all in stocks.
We have to change that advice. Tom?
Yes.
He needs to use a target date fund.
What's the minimum on the VTWAX?
3,000.
Oh, 3,000.
Even in an IRA. The target date funds, though, are 1,000. So he's 51. That would make it a target 35. Yeah. 2035.
So you just go then owned by the Vanguard, and that gives you some bonds in there, so you don't have to worry about the risk quiz part, which you could go take anyway. But that gives you the Vanguard target date 2035 fund, which is saying you're going to retire, Dale, in about 15 years or so.
Right.
And then it's in the one fund. You don't have to do a doggone thing. It's easy.
Exactly. See, that makes life so easy.
Yeah.
They will manage the portfolio balance. They will rebalance that for you for the rest of your life until you start taking the money out. Right. And the fee for that is, get this fee is just astonishing. They do all this work for you, and they charge 0.14% per year. 14/100ths of 1%.
Not very much money.
Okay? Go get it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, let me give you the symbol, too. I'll give you the symbol for it even.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
It's VTT, VTOM, HX.
VTTHX. All right.
Yeah.
That's the Vanguard Target Date 2035 fund. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling.
You're all set, Dale. Thanks for calling. That fund, that's it's funny. That's about probably the right risk for that age.
What's the stock to bond ratio? 70-30?
75-25.
Yeah, so 75% of your money in stocks, and so it's probably down 20% for the year, 18%. Well, that's probably more U.S. oriented, so maybe 18. I mean, again, and the other advantage of buying it now is you're buying it after it's gone down. That's what we want you to do.
Yeah. Buy
the stuff low and hopefully
sell up a little.
Sell it 15 years from now. And by the way, on the Roth, there's no requirement that you ever have to take the money out. You could leave that for somebody else if you wish.
Forever and ever and ever.
So it's a nice alternative.
What was I looking for?
You're looking for VTTHX year-to-date
you wanted to know
returns.
how it's done so far. Year-to-date, 8% down.
Oh, wow.
Not
okay. No,
bad.
that's not bad at all. I thought it was far worse.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
And the portfolio is, it's actually global. It's about 44% U.S. equity and 30% international equity.
And then the rest in bonds.
In bonds. It's a great mix. You see how this is what I've been. We really have been trying
management,
to say.
Index management.
This is why investing shouldn't be hard. If you have small amounts of money, you're not in the $500,000, million, $2, $3, $5, $7, $9 million range. We're not even going to talk about billionaires because billionaires think they're so special they don't invest except with special people. Billionaires don't go out and buy index funds. They're special.
They get blamed for certain viruses too.
They get blamed for viruses, or yelled at for being slave drivers in their warehouses.
Exactly.
But here's the thing about this: is that Vanguard has created this incredible, simple, sane portfolio. Is it perfect for everybody? No, it can't possibly be. Because they don't know your level of risk tolerance, really. They're just saying if you're this age, this is about where you should be. Yeah. But if this is about where your risk tolerance lies at that 75-25 level, and go take our risk quiz at talkingrealmoney.com if you want to find out where yours lies. If it is, here's what you get. It's so simple. They put the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index in there, which is U.S. stocks. Mm-hmm. They put the Vanguard Total International Stock Index in there, which is international. They put the Vanguard Total Bond Market Index in there, which is U.S. bonds. And they put the Vanguard Total International Bond Index in there. So you've got this massive diversification. You probably, among those funds, own somewhere in the vicinity of 30,000 or more securities.
Yeah, so the likelihood of, like, the Argentinian bond default is pretty low, frankly.
So you got some.
And by the way, here's the other good news. You can get your money back before 99 years, because 99 years is a long time to wait to get your money back. Really, it is. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm not liking my odds for getting anything back, even at my age of 99.
That's not to say that, if you get up to that $250,000, $500,000, $1 million range, there are tweaks now that you can make to your portfolio. Yeah. You can get it more personalized. You can get more precision in your allocation. But when you're just getting started, the precision that we talk about for professionally managed portfolios adds a fraction of a percent to returns, a tiny bit, which doesn't make a lot of difference at $1,200.
No.
But it makes a ton of difference at $1.2 million.
Okay, but now, and while we're talking about this, because this is the crux of the matter, you just came up with a brand new class called Bypass Bad Brokers.
I love this one. It's very, very alliterative. Bypass bad brokers and find full-time fiduciaries.
Whoa, a lot of alliteration there.
BBBFFF.
What's the deal? I mean, is this because we had the guy a couple weeks ago that put somebody in an illiquid fund that was, horrible?
That was certainly part of the impetus for this.
Okay.
That was part of the impetus for this. The other thing that was the impetus, and by the time the class is ready, I'm going to have this up online. I also have been working really hard on reading the ADVs to determine what the fees are of most of the major brokerage firms and the major financial advice firms. And what I've learned is appalling. These big firms are just so bad for you, and that's what we're going to teach in this class. So go to talkingrealmoney.com and find out more.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're sick of your self-interested financial advisor and are looking for a 100% fiduciary low-fee investment advisor, call my firm Vestory at 800-386-3004 or visit us at vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
We're so excited we discovered Zoom classes because, they're fun. And boy, do we pack people in because you don't have to sit next to someone. It's really kind of cool. We got a Zoom class coming up. It's called Bypass Bad Brokers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go sign up for it right now at talkingrealmoney.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.